Bob Walcott is all of a sudden thrust into baseball's national spotlight. The rookie starter is going against the Cleveland Indians, the team with the best record in baseball.
The 3-0 pitch to Baerga, and that's high, ball 4, and he cannot throw a strike. He has thrown
And it
one
looks like
strike
sheer disaster. With the bases loaded, he has to face Albert Bell, who happened to hit 50 homers during the regular season.
Pitch on the way to Albert Bell, swing and a miss. He struck him out in a fastball.
Walcott would go on to pitch 7 strong innings. Mike Flowers was the hitting hero for Seattle with this 2-run homer, and the Mariners win 5-2, take a 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series.
He just said to try and relax, go after him. I think one of the things he said is if we get beat 11-0, we'll still have a great offseason. So
Cleveland's a very potent lineup with some thunder in it, and this could handle it pretty well.
Game 2 featured the largest crowd to ever see the Mariners play in Seattle, over 58,000. They wanted Tim Belcher to duplicate Walcott's magic on the mound in Game 1. He received help from Joey Cora early in the game. Cora makes a diving catch to rob Kenny Lofton of a hit. However, the Indians finally get to Belcher, Carlos Baerga with a key hit in the 5th inning, driving in 2 runs. Then Manny Ramirez hits the first of 2 homers on the night in inning number 6. Ken Griffey Jr. hit homer number 6 of the postseason for him, but it was too little too late. The Mariners and Indians head east, tied at 1 game apiece, 5-2 the final.
We won the first one, lost the second one. We got Randy going Friday. That's always a plus. We just got to play behind them and get some runs early.
Oh, yeah, we would like to have won both here, but, we won one and go on the road now, and hopefully we can win 1 or 2 there and bring the series back here.
To Cleveland, Ohio, and to sell out at Jacobs Field. This is the classic hero to GOAT to hero story starring Jay Buhner. Early in the game, he sends a long drive over the left field wall, and it's 1-0 Seattle. To inning number 8, Alvaro Espinoza sends a shot to right. Buhner backs up and misplays it, a rarity for him, but it's a 2-base error. A run would score, and the game is tied at 2. 2 extra innings in the top of the 11th. Buhner redeems himself in a big way, and Seattle wins 5-2. It turns out to be their last win of 1995.
I can say I've been around a little bit, so I've tried to put out of my mind as best as possible. I didn't say anything to anybody. I was just trying to just stay positive as I could. It's tough, though. It really is. But, yeah, I was lucky, man. Like you said, to have something like that happen, I'll still be thinking about it, though.
43,000 at the Jake braved miserable weather for Game 4. Former Mariner Omar Vizquel showed off his defensive skills in the top of the 1st. He goes into the bleachers to grab a Vince Coleman pop-up. This game was all Tribe. Eddie Murray rips a 3-run shot off of Mariner starter Andy Bennett, and it's 3-0. The Indians cruise in the cold. The final score, 7-0. When you look back on the Mariner-Indian series, Game 5 was the one Seattle really needed. The game was tight. Orel Hershiser was tough for Cleveland, but Seattle gets a break. Albert Bell misplays Ken Griffey's pop-up. It's a 2-base error, and Seattle is up 2-1. But Chris Bosio, who had been pitching a gutsy game in the cold, gave up a huge home run to Jim Thome. Edgar Martinez, mired in a huge slump, almost gets a key hit in the 9th, but Cleveland wins 3-2 and needs just one more win to take the ALCS.
I don't consider us having our backs against the wall, really. Once again, we were underdogs coming into this series. We're going home now to play in front of our fans, and we play well there.
It's just great to be in the situation we're at, sure we're down, but, we're going back home, and anything's possible, and we play well at home, so wouldn't surprise me if it went down to Game 7 again. Why not? It would be fitting, wouldn't it?
Game 6, back in the Dome. Randy Johnson, throwing on 3 days' rest, was cruising along in the top of the 5th. He gets help from Joey Cora, who makes a great catch to rob the Indians of a possible hit. However, the next batter, Alvaro Espinoza, hits a ground ball to Joey. His throw to Johnson is behind him. The error puts Espinoza on second. That error leads to a run. Kenny Lofton with a single to left field. Vince Coleman will come up throwing, but the run scores, and it's 1-0 Indians. To the 7th inning. A Randy Johnson pitch gets away from Dan Wilson. 1 run scores, and then Kenny Lawton comes around to score all the way from first base, and all of a sudden, it's 3-0 Indians. Later in that inning, the big unit leaves the game to a standing ovation. He acknowledges the 58,000 plus. Jay Buhner will be the last batter of the season for the Mariners. He hits a grounder to third base. The Indians win the ALCS and head to the World Series for the first time since 1954.
Champions for 1995, and congratulations to the Tribe.
After the game, the fans refused to leave until the players returned to the Kingdome Field. It was an emotional moment for everyone, especially Joey Cora. It even brought the ball girls, fans, and a big league manager to tears.
You know, having been so close to the team for so many years, and especially this year, and especially the stretch drive of this year, Rick and Dave understand the emotion. Obviously, you're going to be emotional. It is no shock to me that Joey Cora cried, that Lou Piniella cried. I think everyone cried in their own little way when it came to an end. It must have been very gratifying for both of you, that standing ovation that was for everybody. And you've done such a great job, and then to get cheered for it. And now in the off-season, everybody's going to be calling you.
Dave's getting a lot of calls.
But here it is. Take a look here. They show a shot of you guys in the booth. And the people are going nuts. You must have felt great.
Well, I was applauding the fans more than anybody else. I couldn't believe the fans, the way they responded, and the things that they have done, not only for the team, but for us in the broadcast booth, bringing by Walla Walla onions and pies and cakes and salamis. And you can't believe it, and fish and salmon. I mean, I haven't had enough room in the freezer to keep it all summer, but just for the fans, they responded to this team, and I knew they would. I've always said that since 1977, the fans didn't owe the Mariners anything. The Mariners owed them a competitive ball club, and I knew this would happen. As a matter of fact, when we got back from that road trip and opened up a series against Kansas City, the one that proved to be, I think, the really pushing off point, only 29,000 fans showed up on that night. Randy Johnson pitched, and it was a family night, a 2-for-1 night. I was a little disappointed, and I probably let my emotion show a little bit too much on the air. I said, maybe I've been wrong all these years. Maybe this is not a baseball town. I thought there would be more than 29,000. This club is right in the middle of a pennant race, and they started coming and coming and coming, and 55,000, 56, 57, 58,000. And it was the greatest renaissance of any sport here in this area, not only Seattle, but in the Northwest, from Alaska all the way to Northern California to as far east as Montana. So it was an incredible experience, a great love affair.
Tremendous memories, a great love affair, and it'll never be the same again. It'll be good,
right?
But it's not like that first love affair. It never will be the same
Exactly. I mean, there was that feeling in your stomach like your first love that you have, and I think that's what happened here in this city. Everybody really took to this ball club in a way that we may never see again. Hopefully we'll be back there again next year, and I think that we have the nucleus to do that. But it was really something to see this ball club come together, you know, as a team after Junior's injury, and the way they won games down the stretch, and especially that 5-game series against New York. That'll never be beaten. And the fans, you fans were absolutely incredible along the way for that ride. You were definitely a part of it.
I want to tell you one thing. First of all, thanks to both of you guys for extending your season a couple of days and joining us tonight, and for bringing us the thrills and the joy of this terrific baseball season. We will see you both. We'll hear from you both next spring. Get a vacation. Get a few days off. Have a salami sandwich.
All right.
We'll see you in February and hear from you in February.
Congratulations to everybody involved with this production. You've done a marvelous job.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's toss it back to Stephen.
Still, as fans across the country learned this almost perfect autumn, baseball and Seattle are in love. We can be thankful to these men for that, who came together as a team and made a season full of plays for our affection. We can thank a manager who blended talent with opportunity and gave each game the perspective it deserved. We are grateful to a right fielder for hitting more home runs than he ever had before, who in his heart would not stand for second best, who wanted nothing less than to be a champion. To a left fielder who changed his life, but not his tendency, once on base, for making pitchers nervous. To the ace of the pitching staff, the best in the league, for simply making pitches, time and time and time again. to the best hitter in the league for calmly hitting pitches with equal regularity and winning games that needed to be won, to the game's most exciting player who ran into and over walls, for knowing when to slide and knowing when to smile. And to a second baseman who flew through the air to chase line drives, but who, in the end, came down hard when the World Series fell just beyond his grasp. For all that, we are grateful, those of us who've lost our hearts, because in coming together, these men have revealed what is possible when we try. It's more than just a slogan, if you remember how it's done. And that is why we could not leave that night. That is why they stole our hearts this almost perfect autumn, when Seattle fell in love with baseball and took her home to meet the folks. Someone should have warned us, though, that she almost always breaks your heart.